What up guys, it's Bananaowns here bringing you part 56 of my Skyward Sword Let's Play, and in this video we're going to get the item of this dungeon and basically just do a lot of stuff. It's going to be a longer video than the last couple, so let's enjoy this. And if my voice is a little bit softer, I apologize. It's kind of a little gravelly, it's a little bit late I'm recording this, but I have to keep on a schedule of recording in order to get these done. So at least I hope it's a little bit entertaining. I will probably, I'll probably do like some boosting of the audio or something. So yeah, that's how it's gonna go. So I'm just keeping, just moving up and such. So that's really interesting. And man, that was the most awkward conversation I've ever had with myself. Okay, so basically, I'm getting closer to finishing this. I've already talked about gameplay wise, and I'm moving along recording these voiceovers. I'm very behind in recording the voiceovers compared to gameplay. I guess I've just been playing the game more than having the voiceovers. When I first started this out, I only had like 6 episodes worth of voiceovers, well, worth of gameplay recorded for every week. Until then, I started playing this game, when I had time just to get ahead in case I wanted to take like a week off or something. But this has enabled me to be like 3 weeks ahead though in gameplay compared to what I need for voiceovers. So I'm trying to kind of catch up right now, considering I have all this gameplay done, so might as well just do voiceovers. So basically, yeah, I'm trying to catch up, so that's the whole thing. So I really hope these turn out decent as well, because I'm trying to crank out a lot of them at a single time. Like, I plan to do all the voiceovers for this Fire Sanctuary in the same day, and I'm hoping I can be entertaining still. But hey, we're 55 episodes in, and if you're still watching, I don't think you're gonna stop now. To all like 3 of you that are still watching. Okay, so we're moving in, and you notice I'm backtracking right now, and you're probably wondering, hey, Bananaowns, why are you backtracking right now? But it's in order to get a special little item. And this item is another bottle. It's the 4th bottle of the game. And considering that the last boss battles, especially some of the game gets very, and I'm going to say the last boss battles are very difficult, and you really want as many healing items as you can during those last few boss battles. So you need bottles. Now there's 5 bottles in this game, and I think we're grabbing the 4th one right now. And then the 5th one you get from a Goddess Cube chest, but you can't get access to the cube until you do the Song of the Hero part for the Elden Province, so for the volcano part. So that's still a couple hours away of getting it, but we can still get this bottle up here. We can still get this 4th bottle here, and it'll be really helpful. So basically, you activate that extra area, and if you remember killing the hands earlier, you have to kill that other hand in order to get access to an area which leads to the bottle, which is really good. So here we go, and then all the lava drains out like before, and you can go down to this little trench area, which is I say which is a lot. Huh. That's weird. Oh, whatever. I don't really care anymore. Okay, and here's the bottle, and we don't have enough spaces in the adventure pouch right now, so it'll go up to the item check. So just remember to go back to the item check after this dungeon, or maybe before the boss battle if you want to, or maybe at any time you want. If you want to leave whatever you want, it's pretty cool. It's very easy to retrace your footsteps in Skyward Sword dungeons compared to other dungeons. There's no warping item like in other Zelda games that let you like resume your place right away. But I'd say the dungeons are all are small enough and have I noticed they all have kind of shortcuts, if that makes sense, where you can like pull a switch or something and it unlocks a door that lets you get in from a room in the main room. I noticed a lot of the dungeons have shortcuts like that, actually. So yeah, so basically, I've already talked about like this game and how I feel about it a lot. So maybe I should talk about like other Zelda games and how much I love it. I've already talked a lot about like Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time and how that, and Majora's Mask even, and how that affected my childhood. But I've never really like talked about a lot of the gameplay mechanics, so I'm probably gonna go and do some of those for the next few videos, considering this is just, you know, dungeon hopping, or especially during side quests I tend to get a lot more sidetracked. So see, like right now we're just returning to back where we left off, so we can continue actually moving through the dungeon because we got that empty bottle. So it took a little bit of time, but it was well worth it. So let me talk about like the original Legend of Zelda. I have beaten the original Legend of Zelda. I have the little collector's disc for GameCube that has Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. So I've played and beaten Zelda 1, and it's absolutely, I can see it's groundbreaking for the time, but it doesn't hold up as well as Link to the Past in terms of a top-down perspective. Just because, you know, it was the first game, they didn't know if you should be able to aim diagonally or, you know, have a lot of stuff, but it was really good in the sense that it really was like one of the probably like the first open world games on the NES, and I could really respect that. And it's still, it doesn't hold up quite as well to other Zelda games, but that's a tough act to follow considering that was the first one and it established the series, and it's still really, really well done. Although some of the dungeons are almost like impossible to find without consulting like a guide of some sort, consulting your Nintendo Power map or something, because some of them is just really, and some of the hints are really badly translated. They didn't localize the game very well, so like they kind of don't make sense. And so basically, yeah, that's it. That's kind of my issues. And Zelda 2, I have played some Zelda 2. I haven't beaten the game because it's like really super fucking hard. So don't blame me about that. But from what I played, it's pretty fun. It's just very difficult, and I think it gets a lot of hate because it's different from other Zelda games, and I don't think that's necessarily, I don't think that's deserved because it's still a well-designed game. It's just different. I think that's why maybe a lot of people dislike this game, because the controls are different. So I don't know. It's just different. So people don't tend to not like things that are different, but they tend to also I don't understand this, because a lot of people give Call of Duty shit for keeping like basically the same game, but when you like something like Mario hasn't had a lot of gameplay changes, or when they release like a new Super Mario Brothers game like every they've been doing like every year now. It's, oh god, that's weird, but like no one really bitches about that at all, considering like they're basically the same game as well. But I don't know. So there's Zelda 2. So for Ocarina of Time, I've already talked about how it's one of my like fondest games of my childhood, of course, like many other people. So basically, gameplay design, really, really well done actually. And some people try to say like it doesn't hold up today, but I disagree. I don't know if it's just like my nostalgia glasses, but I just recently played it through. Well, I recently like played it a little bit after playing this game and playing like Twilight Princess and stuff, and Ocarina of Time plays very well. The controls are a little bit more stiff than I remember, but it still controls very well. You never feel like, sorry, there's a little yawn right there. You never feel like that the controls will inhibit you from playing the game. They're not detrimental. So it holds up so well, and especially if you get the, I don't have a 3DS, but I really want the 3DS version. So if you have a 3DS, get the 3DS version and experience the game again, or if you've never experienced it, experience it for the first time, because it's one of those games that everyone should play. It's on like the top list of like a lot of websites, and you hear a lot of people absolutely just praising it. So you really should at least give it a play. It's like Metal Gear Solid in that respect, where just everyone should just play it. You know, just give it a shot, because it's so influential. It's so influential for just games in general, especially 3D games. It's like it does it did what Mario 64 did. It just showed like franchises can make the conversion to 3D, they can still be good, and they can still be very fun. So I really enjoyed Ocarina of Time like a lot of people did. And then I would say for my childhood, Majora's Mask, it took me a long time to beat that game. I played through Ocarina of Time before, like a couple times before I beat Majora's Mask. I owned both of them around the same time. I got them both around the same time, but Majora's Mask was always really weird to me. I think it was mostly the time mechanic, the 3-day mechanic. It felt really weird because the time mechanic just basically like erased all your progress that you made, and then especially since like certain areas they had like special mini games or something or such after you beat the dungeon, you like purify the land. So it was really kind of a pain in the ass, but after you beat a dungeon you can just go redo the boss fight like right away. So I really enjoyed like that system right there. I think that really helped out the game as a whole. But when I was younger, I didn't really appreciate Majora's Mask for what it was, but I just recently played it. I think last year I just recently played it and beat it like 100% through, all the collectibles done, all side quests done, all masks collected, just absolutely everything. And that game, it's different in the respect that in the aspect that it doesn't focus too much on the dungeons. It focuses more on the characters and on the side stories. The dungeons, there's only 4 of them, so if you just go straight through the dungeons, you are going to beat the main game really quickly. But if you do all the side quests, it really has a length very similar to Ocarina of Time in that respect, of doing the side quest and basically learning all about these characters that are inhabiting. Like each character has their own schedule, and it's really cool because it's like one of the first games I remember playing where each character was designed with a schedule and they had a routine and places to go. And especially since it was really dark too, as a kid it kind of scared me, especially the first time you put on your transformation mask and they do like that, like Link screaming in agony, and it was just really cool and dark, and I didn't appreciate it for what it was until just like last year. I always knew it was a really good game, and I really enjoyed playing it, but I never really got to fully experience it, which I regret, because I feel like if I got to just fully on experience it as a kid, it probably would be one of my favorite, well, probably would be my favorite Zelda game. I know it's really high up there. It's really high up there right now, and I'd say I've really been enjoying playing this game. I keep bitching about the issues with this game, but I really enjoyed this game as well. So, as you see with these, I should mention these Magma Myths before I start talking about other Zelda games, but these Magma Myths, they're just different. There's an upgraded version where you can dig in these tunnels that the Magmas use, so that's pretty much it, and they're kind of special. There's like a couple more collectibles that you need these myths to get, and such, and you know, it's all that jazz. Okay, so got another small key. So this video is lasting a little bit longer, but that's okay. That's okay, because this dungeon, it took like 40 minutes to beat. It's not the longest dungeon ever. It's just average. So I just talked about Majora's Mask a lot. I would say probably for like my next step of like games playing as childhood and stuff, it'd be Wind Waker would be next. I already had this huge story about how I rented it and such, but I rented it when I was 7. So that game, I think it came out when I was 7. So that game was just amazingly awesome. I know people, it's funny because I just learned like fairly recently in terms of like history and being on the internet that people really dislike the cell shading at first, and I don't get it. When I was a kid, that was like the perfect game for me. It looked like a brilliant cartoon. It played very well. You had a sword, it's puzzles. It was like the same Zelda formula that I played with Ocarina of Time, and it looked like a living cartoon. That was really cool as a kid. It felt like Nintendo made a Zelda game specifically for me. And I suppose a lot of people felt the same way. And I just really, really, really enjoyed Wind Waker. I think that's probably my second favorite Zelda game. I think number one would, as cliche as it sounds, would be Ocarina of Time. But yeah, I love Ocarina of Time. I've probably played through that. That's like my most played Zelda game. So Wind Waker, I loved all the puzzles. I love the sailing. I remember first getting the game, trying to get off Windfall Island. I couldn't figure out what to do until you talked to that Eskimo guy that gives you the sail, and that was a really defining moment because I felt like I solved that puzzle. Like, because all they did was tell you to get a sail. They didn't tell you how to get a sail. So that was really cool, actually. I really enjoyed some of that, like, discovery aspect. The game should be balanced in that there is a decent amount of puzzle for especially games like Zelda, games that have like a puzzle aspect like this, but there should be a certain amount of self-discovery, but it shouldn't be so hard that you can't figure out what to do at any time. So Wind Waker was really good because it was fairly easier than a lot of the Zelda games, but it still didn't spoon feed you everything like this game does. It would do like an important cutscene and then it would just leave it at that. I think that's enough. But it was still good. It was very easy. Combat wise, it's especially easy now playing it. I don't think it's possible to die. A lot of the newer Zelda games are really easy. Especially, I'd say Twilight Princess, I didn't die at all either, maybe except for the Cave of Ordeals. I think that's where kind of the difficulty comes, is in Twilight Princess for that. But, hey, Wind Waker, fucking good game, and I really, really, really think that's my second favorite Zelda game. That's why I'm, like, super excited about the Wind Waker HD remake for Wii U, because I really want to play that game, especially after viewing it, people playing it on emulators, where it upscales into 1080p very well, and a lot of the Wii games do, like Twilight Princess and such. I watched a video where they upscaled it to 1080p, and it's just mind-blowing to think that it can look that good upscaling, and it makes me wonder, like, why Nintendo didn't get into an HD console in the first place, because I feel like they're still playing catch-up, which I don't like, especially with a new generation of Xbox and PlayStation coming out very soon. I feel like they're playing catch-up, and it'd be very difficult for them to manage, especially when they're already behind again. Okay, so that about concludes this part. Got a piece of heart out of that, so see you later, guys.